Philadelphia, 1962, a Tuesday afternoon. The Police Athletic League gym, North Philadelphia, an old building. From the outside, you can't tell there's anything inside. Just broken windows, worn brick, and a small sign on the door, Pal Gym, Boxing. Inside, heavy bags hang from the ceiling, an old ring in the center. The floor is concrete, cold. The walls are bare brick, no heat. It's a winter day, breath turning to steam. But inside are about 20 men, young, thin, poor, all looking for the same thing, a chance, a life, a future. And in one corner stands Yank Durham, 52 years old, black man, average height but powerful, Korean War veteran. His face bears scars, from war, from life. But his eyes are sharp. He sees everything, every movement, every intention, every lie. The door opens, cold air rushes in, and through the door walks a young man, 18 years old, thin, very thin, maybe 180 pounds, height 5 feet 11 inches, but his posture is hesitant, head slightly bowed, eyes looking at the ground, but there's hunger in them, a hunger he doesn't understand, not physical, spiritual, the hunger to prove his existence, to be validated, to be seen. Joe Frazier. He came to Philadelphia from South Carolina 6 months ago. Ran away, actually. 12 siblings. Father working the children in cotton fields. No pay, no love, just beatings. You're worthless, boy. You'll never be nothing, just like your brothers, just like me. Joe ran. Greyhound bus, $18 in his pocket. Philadelphia, to his uncle's house. But his uncle is poor, too. Joe wanders the streets, looking for work. Can't find any. Nobody hires an 18-year-old black kid without a diploma. One day walking the streets, he sees 2 men fighting. But not fighting, boxing. There are gloves, movement, technique. Joe watches, mesmerized. One hits the other, but from the one being hit comes pleasure, power, life. Joe decides that day, I'm going to be a boxer, now in the Pal Gym. Joe approaches Yank Durham, stands in front of him. Yank doesn't lift his head immediately. He's having a student hit the heavy bag, correcting his stance. Elbows in, head movement. Don't just stand there. Then he turns to Joe. Yes? Joe's voice trembles. Sir, I want a box. Yank looks down at him, sees the thinness, the timid posture, the fear in the eyes. You ever boxed before? Joe, no, sir. Yank, you got money? Joe, no, sir. Yank turns, walks away. Joe stays there, frozen, rejected. Again, always rejected in his life. His father, worthless. At school, you can't read good enough. At jobs, we don't need you. And now here, his last hope, rejected. Joe's eyes fill, but he doesn't cry, can't cry. Crying is weakness. His father taught him, boys don't cry. Crying is for weak people, and you're already weak enough. Joe turns to leave. Yank's voice, where you going? Joe stops, turns. Yank throws 2 gloves. Joe barely catches them. Yank, you got no money. Fine. You work. Clean the gym. Mop the floors. Empty the spit buckets. Fix the bags. Do whatever I tell you, and I'll teach you. But you do exactly what I say. No shortcuts, no excuses, no quitting. You quit once, you're done. You understand? Joe nods. Can't speak. Yank, I ask, do you understand? Joe, yes, sir, I understand. Yank, good. Start tomorrow. 6 a.m. You're late. Don't come back. Joe, I won't be late, sir. Yank turns and walks away. Joe looks at the gloves. Old, worn, leather cracked, smell of sweat inside. But to Joe, they're gold, because these gloves are a chance, his first chance. Next morning, 5:30 a.m., Joe waits in front of the gym. Cold, snow falling, no coat, just a thin jacket, shivering, but waiting. 6 a.m., Yank arrives, sees Joe, surprised. How long you been here? Joe, Since 5:30, sir. Yank opens the door. Come in. Inside, Yank doesn't tell Joe welcome, just points to the mop. Floors, every corner, every day. Joe starts. 2 hours of cleaning, then Yank calls out, "Okay, now we start." In front of the heavy bag, Yank shows him the stance. Feet shoulder width, hands up, chin down, never drop your hands, ever. Joe imitates. Wrong. Yank corrects. Pushes Joe's arms into the right position with his hands. Again. Joe tries again. Wrong. Yank corrects. Again. 50 times, 100 times. Joe's arms are burning. Pain. Muscles not used to this position. But Yank doesn't stop. Again. Joe begs. Sir, can I rest? Yank. In the ring, the other guy won't let you rest. So I won't either. Again. 3 hours. Just stance. Not a single punch thrown. Joe is finished. About to collapse. Yank. Enough. Tomorrow same time. Joe. But I didn't even punch anything. Yank. Because you don't know how to stand yet. And if you can't stand, you can't punch. Everything starts with the foundation. You rush, you fail. You understand? Joe. Yes, sir. Yank. Good. Clean up and go home. Joe cleans the gym. 30 more minutes, then leaves. Outside, snow still falling. Joe walks to his uncle's house. 40-minute walk, shoes wet, feet frozen. But there's a smile on his face for the first time in his life. He's felt like he belongs to something, starting to be good at something, a small thing, just stance, but something. 6 months pass. Joe at the gym every morning at 5:30. Snow, rain, sun doesn't matter. There, cleaning, then training. Yank still tough, still demanding. But something changes. Yank now uses Joe's name. First 3 months he said, you. You, come here. You, fix that bag. But now, Joe. Joe, hands up. Joe, good movement. A small change, but huge for Joe. Because being called by name means being seen, being human. And Yank sees Joe. One evening after training ends, Joe is cleaning. Yank sits in the corner, watching, then speaks. Joe, where's your family? Joe stops. South Carolina, sir. Yank. They know you're here? Joe. No, sir. Yank. Why not? Joe silent. Yank waits. Joe takes a deep breath. Because they don't care, sir. My daddy. He said I'm worthless, that I'll never be nothing. So I left. Yank nods. Your daddy's wrong. Joe looks at Yank. First time an adult has told him his father is wrong. Sir? Yank. I said your daddy's wrong. You're not worthless. I've seen worthless. I've trained worthless. You're not it. You got something most people don't have. You got heart. Real heart. The kind that makes champions. Joe's eyes fill. You think I can be a champion? Yank stands up, approaches Joe, puts his hand on Joe's shoulder. I don't think, Joe. I know. You're going to be champion. Mark my words. One day, you'll be heavyweight champion of the world. And when you are, you'll remember this conversation. You'll remember that I knew before anyone else did. Joe can't sleep that night. Yank's words spin in his head. You're going to be champion. Nobody ever said anything like that to Joe. Nobody believed. But Yank believes, and Yank doesn't lie. Yank is tough but honest, always honest. If Yank says I'm going to be champion, maybe I really can be. 2 years pass. 1964. Joe is improving, fast, strong, technique perfecting. Yank is no longer just a trainer. Father figure. Joe's real father never asked, how are you? But Yank asks every day. You eat today, Joe? You sleep okay? Something bothering you? And Joe opens up. First time in his life trusting someone. Tells about the cotton fields in South Carolina, his father's beatings, his siblings' pain, his escape, his fears. Yank listens, doesn't judge, just listens. Then says, Joe, your past doesn't define you. Your future does, and your future is bright. Trust me. October 1964, Tokyo Olympics. Joe representing America. Heavyweight. But there's a problem. During training, his thumb breaks. Doctors. You can't compete in the Olympics. Need 6 weeks in a cast. Joe is devastated. Comes to Yank. Yank, they say I can't fight. Yank, what do you say? Joe, I want to fight, but my thumb... Yank cuts him off. Listen to me, Joe. Pain is temporary. Regret is forever. You quit now, you'll wonder rest of your life what could have been. You fight now, with a broken thumb, you'll know. You'll know you gave everything. Win or lose, you'll know. Joe, but it hurts. Yank, everything worth doing hurts. The question is it worth it? Joe silent, thinking. Then, it's worth it. Yank, then we fight. And Joe, you're gonna win, because pain doesn't beat heart, and you got the biggest heart I ever seen. Tokyo, finals. Joe versus German fighter. 3 rounds. Joe's thumb burns like fire with every punch. The pain unbearable. But Joe doesn't stop. Yank yelling from the corner, Heart, Joe, show them your heart. 3rd round final seconds. Joe throws a left hook. With the broken thumb, pain screaming inside, but the punch lands. The German falls. Referee counting. 10. Fight over. Joe won. Gold medal. Joe collapses in the ring. Crying, not from pain, from happiness. First time in his life he's been first at something. First time he's proven he wasn't worthless. He was a champion. Yank climbs into the ring. Hugs Joe. 2 men crying. Yank whispers in Joe's ear, I told you, Joe. I told you you'd be champion. This is just the beginning. 1965 to 1970, Joe goes pro. Yank in his corner. Every fight, every training session, every decision. Yank isn't just a trainer, advisor, father, friend. Joe marries Linda. Yank at the wedding. Front row. Joe has children. Brandon, Marvis. Yank calls them my grandkids. Joe succeeds. Winning fight after fight. February 1970 becomes world champion. Wins the belt. Yank climbs into the ring. Joe gives the belt to Yank. This is yours too, old man. I couldn't do this without you. Yank cries. 58 years old, maybe cried 3 times in his life. But now crying. Joe, you did this. I just showed you the way. You walked it. January 1971. Big news. Joe Frazier versus Muhammad Ali. March 8th, Madison Square Garden. Fight of the century. Ali undefeated. Joe champion. Both at the top. Only one will win. Training begins. Yank tougher than ever. Joe, this is it. This is what we worked for. 9 years. Every morning you came early. Every night you stayed late. Every punch you threw. All for this. Ali is great, but you're greater, because Ali talks. You work, and work beats talk. Always. Joe. Yank, I'm scared. Yank. Good. Fear means you care, but don't let fear control you. You control it. You use it. Fear makes you sharp, makes you ready. Ali's not scared. That's his weakness. You're scared. That's your strength. February 28th, 8 days to the fight. Yank is sick, coughing a lot. I'm fine, Joe, just a cold. But he's not getting better, getting worse. March 1st. Yank goes to the hospital. Doctors run tests. Yank calls Joe. Joe, don't worry. I'll be in your corner March 8th. I promise, Joe. You better be, old man. I can't do this without you. Yank. Yes, you can, but you won't have to. I'll be there. March 3rd. 5 days to the fight. Doctors keep Yank in the hospital. More tests. Joe visits, Yank in bed, lost weight, 10 pounds in 1 week. Joe shocked. Yank, what's going on? Yank smiles, but tired. Just some tests, Joe, nothing serious. Doctor calls Joe outside. Hallway. Mr. Frazier, we need to talk. Joe. What's wrong? Doctor. It's lung cancer. Stage 4, it's very advanced. Joe's world spins. How long? Doctor. 2 weeks, maybe a month. I'm sorry. Joe goes back into Yank's room. Yank looks, sees Joe's face, knows Joe learned. They told you. Joe nods. Can't speak. Yank. Joe, sit down. Joe sits. Yank takes Joe's hand with his. Joe, listen to me. I'm dying. We both know it. But I'm not scared. You know why? Because I did what I came here to do. I found a worthless kid in a gym 9 years ago, and I made him a champion. That's my legacy. You are my legacy. Joe crying. Yank, I need you. I can't fight Ali without you. Yank. Yes, you can. Joe. How? Yank. Because everything I taught you is in you now. You don't need me in the corner yelling. You are the corner. You're the fighter, the champion, the man who proved everyone wrong. I'm just the old man who saw it first. Joe. But who's going to tell me I can do it? Yank. You are. You're going to tell yourself. Yank believed, and Yank was never wrong. Silence. Joe crying. Yank continues. Joe, I need you to promise me something. Joe. Anything. Yank. Win. Don't postpone the fight. Don't wait for me. I might not be here. But you go in that ring March 8th, and you win. You win for you, for Linda, for your kids, and for me. You dedicate that victory to me. Promise. Joe. I promise. Yank. Good. Now get out of here. You got a fight to prepare for. March 5th. 3 days to the fight? Yank worse. Doctors. Maybe a week. Joe visits every day, but they don't talk. Yank too weak to speak. Joe just sits, holds his hand. Yank's eyes open, looking at Joe, smiling, weak but real. March 5th evening, Joe leaving the hospital, nurse comes, gives him an envelope. Mr. Frazier, Mr. Durham said to give you this. He wrote it today. Said don't open until fight night, March 8th, before you go in the ring. Joe holds the envelope, trembling in his hand. What is it? Nurse. A letter. He wanted to make sure, just in case. Joe understands. Just in case Yank can't be there. Joe grips the envelope tight. Thank you. March 5th night, 11 p.m. Joe at home. Phone rings. Hospital. Mr. Frazier? Yes. I'm sorry. Mr. Durham passed away 20 minutes ago, peacefully, in his sleep. Joe drops the phone, collapses. Linda runs. Joe, what happened? Joe crying, screaming. He's gone. Yank's gone. 3 days to the fight, and Yank is dead. Joe devastated. Linda, Joe, you can postpone the fight. Joe, no. Linda, but Joe, I promised him. I promised I'd fight March 8th. I promised I'd win, and I'm going to keep that promise. Eddie Futch arrives, Yank's assistant. Joe, I'll be in your corner if you want me. Joe, Yank would want you there, so yes. March 8th, 1971. Madison Square Garden, locker room, Joe sitting, 30 minutes to the fight. Eddie preparing, wraps, gloves. Joe reaches into his pocket, takes out Yank's envelope. Eddie sees. What's that? Joe. Yank wrote me a letter, said open it fight night. Eddie. You gonna open it? Joe. Now. Opens the envelope. Inside 2 pages, Yank's handwriting, shaky but readable. Joe, if you're reading this, I'm gone. And you're about to fight Muhammad Ali, the biggest fight of your life. And I'm not there. I'm sorry, Joe. I wanted to be. But life doesn't always give us what we want. It gives us what we need. And what you need is to know something. You don't need me. You never did. I didn't make you a champion, Joe. You already were a champion. I just saw it. That first day you walked into Pal Gym, 1962, skinny, scared kid with nothing. I saw it then. The heart, the hunger, the refusal to quit. That's champion DNA, Joe. I didn't give you that. God did. I just helped you find it. You asked me once why I believed in you when nobody else did. I'll tell you now, because I saw myself in you. A boy who was told he was nothing, who decided to prove the world wrong. My father told me I'd never amount to nothing, just like yours did, and I spent my whole life proving him wrong. But you know what I learned, Joe? I wasn't proving him wrong. I was proving myself right. That's what you're doing tonight. Not proving Ali wrong, not proving the world wrong, proving yourself right, proving that the scared kid from South Carolina was always a champion. He just needed a chance to show it. Tonight, you'll step in that ring with Muhammad Ali, the greatest talker who ever lived, and he'll try to get in your head. He'll try to make you doubt. Don't, because I never doubted you, not for 1 second in 9 years. You are Joe Frazier, heavyweight champion of the world, and tonight you're going to stay champion, not because I believe it, because you do. When you win, and you will win, Joe, don't cry for me. Don't dedicate it to me. Dedicate it to that 18-year-old kid who walked into a gym with nothing and built himself into a champion. Dedicate it to every person who ever told you that you were worthless. Prove them wrong. One more time. For you. I love you, Joe, like a son. You're the best thing I ever did with my life. And I'll be watching tonight, from wherever I am. I'll be in your corner, not physically, but you'll feel me. Every punch you throw, every breath you take, I'm there, always. Now go be great, go be champion, go be the man I always knew you were. Yank. Joe finishes the letter, his face wet with tears. Eddie sees. Joe, you okay? Joe folds the letter, puts it in his pocket, stands up. I'm more than okay. I'm ready. Let's go win this for Yank. Eddie. For Yank. Joe. For Yank. Ring entrance. 20,000 spectators. Madison Square Garden overflowing. Lights, cameras, screams. Ali enters the ring. Showmanship. Dancing. The crowd goes wild. Joe enters, silently, walking, eyes focused. Yank's words in his head. You don't need me. You are the corner. Joe climbs into the ring, goes to his corner, Eddie beside him. Joe looks at the sky for a second. His lips move. This is for you, old man. 15 rounds. Brutal. Savage. One of the greatest fights in boxing history. 15th round. Final 30 seconds. Joe throws a left hook to Ali's chin. Ali staggers, falls to the ground. The crowd goes wild. Referee counting. Ali gets up, but exhausted. Bell, fight over. Judges give their cards. Judges' decision. Winner and still heavyweight champion, Joe Frazier. The referee raises Joe's hand. 20,000 people standing, screaming. But Joe doesn't hear, because Joe is looking at the sky, eyes full, tears streaming down his face, his lips moving. Nobody hears. But the TV cameras zoom in. Lip readers understand. I did it, Yank. I did it for you. Like I promised. Eddie hugs Joe. You did it, champ. You beat Ali. Joe crying on Eddie's shoulder. Yank saw it, right? He was here? Eddie. He was here, Joe. I felt him too. In the locker room, crowded. Reporters, cameras, flashes, questions. Joe, how do you feel? Joe sits, tired, face swollen, but smiling. Takes Yank's letter from his pocket, opens it, reads it again. Tears fall on the paper, ink smearing. But Joe doesn't care, just reading and reading and reading. Reporter approaches. Joe, who you want to thank first? Joe lifts his head. Yank Durham, my trainer, my father. He died 3 days ago. Told me to win. So I won. For him. Reporter. What did he mean to you? Joe. Everything. He found me when I was nothing, and he made me believe I was something. He saw a champion before I saw it. He believed before I believed. And tonight, I proved he was right. Yank was never wrong. Never. 30 years later, 2001, Joe in an interview, 57 years old, retired, but still in boxing. Reporter, Joe, who made you champion? Joe pauses, thinks. Yank Durham. People think talent makes champions, or hard work, or luck. But I had none of those. I had Yank, and Yank had belief. He believed in a worthless kid from South Carolina, and that belief carried me through every fight, every doubt, every fear. Yank died March 5th, 1971, 3 days before I beat Allie. But he was there, in my corner, in my heart, in every punch I threw. That's what a real trainer does. They don't just train your body, they train your soul. Yank trained mine. Reporter, do you still have the letter? Joe smiles, reaches into his pocket, takes out a worn envelope. Every day. I read it every day, for 30 years, and every day it reminds me, I'm not worthless, I'm a champion, because Yank said so, and Yank was never wrong. 2011 Joe Frazier dies, 67 years old, liver cancer, family beside him. Marvis holds his hand. Dad, we love you. Joe smiles, weak. I love you too, son, and tell Yank. Tell him I kept my promise. I stayed champion, not just in boxing, in life. Marvis crying. Dad, you were always champion. Joe, because Yank believed first. Funeral, Philadelphia, hundreds of people, boxers, family, fans, in front of the casket. Marvis speaks. My father loved 3 people more than life itself. My mother, his children, and Yank Durham. Yank died before Dad's greatest victory, but Dad won for Yank. Every punch, every fight, every moment, Dad carried Yank's letter for 40 years, read it every single day. And when we prepared Dad for burial, we put 3 things in his casket: his Olympic gold medal, his championship belt, and Yank's letter. Because Dad said, when I see Yank again, I want to show him I kept it safe, like I kept my promise. So, Yank, if you're listening, Dad's coming home, and he's bringing proof. He stayed champion, just like you knew he would. The casket closes, photo visible one last time inside, Joe, young, climbing into the ring, and in Joe's pocket, in his casket, Yank's letter, carried for 40 years. Now will carry forever, because some words don't die, some beliefs are eternal. You're gonna be champion, Joe. Mark my words. Yank Durham said it in 1962, proved right in 1971, and even in 2011, as Joe died, it was still true, because Joe Frazier was a champion, not just in the boxing ring, in life, because one man believed in him, and that belief carried Joe forever. Who are you? A worthless kid or an undiscovered champion? Because nobody saw Joe before Yank, but Yank saw. Who's your Yank? Who believes in you when nobody else does? And more importantly, do you believe in yourself? Because Yank's belief started Joe, but Joe's own belief finished him. Being a champion starts with someone else, but it ends with yourself. Yank Durham died in 1971, but his belief didn't die. It lived in Joe, 40 years, and now it lives in this story, forever. Because real champions don't just win fights, they change lives. Yank changed Joe's. Joe changed thousands. Now it's your turn. Go be champion, not just for yourself, for the man who believed in you. Because that belief, you have to honor it. You're gonna be champion. Mark my words. Yank's words. Joe's truth. Your future.